Here we go. We're going live. We got it. It is December 23rd, 2021. Really exciting times because we are just a moment before Christmas. And, we acknowledge that at first we had the winter solstice that just came in with all these energies. We talked about all that. And, with the full moon, we talked about manifesting our dreams. With the winter solstice, we talked about everything that that brings in. And I always like to acknowledge what's going on around us, even because I think it really is important. However, I always like to keep the topics where they're religion neutral. So even though I want to address Christmas because we're right there, we cannot not, if we don't address things, it's almost like those monkeys, where we're just not acknowledging what's going on in space. And that's not what we want to do. And so Christmas is right here, literally Saturday, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. And I truly believe that, when we talk a lot about energy on these calls, and, when so many people devote their energy to this time and this moment in space, I mean, that is something that just blows you away. I feel, at least. Even as I mentioned, I don't personally celebrate that with my family, but I think that it is such an emotionally powerful time and energy and high energy time. And it ties into everything that we've been talking about this week. So I definitely want to bring it in. I just want to keep our topics so that we honor everyone, because there are so many religions out there and so many people who maybe even don't believe in any type of religion, and I want to be respectful for everyone, Buddhist, Hinduist, Jewish people, whatever religion that or faith that you have. I feel like I want to honor where you are and not, discuss something that might make you feel anything but excited to be here. Let's put it that way. And so, so with this special time, and I feel like, and you can correct me if you don't feel that, but I feel like this is such a special time that it's almost tangible. Like you can feel the excitement when you go out. You can feel everybody talks about this Christmas spirit. You can feel how delighted everyone is. Maybe people get a little bit like you guys are talking about, the pressure of things, getting things done on time, and but even that is high energy. It's not this low energy where we're just, okay, what's going on? Or is it another day? Is it Wednesday? Is it not? Everybody knows that Christmas is coming. Everybody is getting these jitters, even if it's just this list of getting things done, or making sure that things arrive on time, or, organizing, I feel like it is a time where we can really focus on this energy of giving and receiving. This energy of giving and receiving, it's something that relates to all religions everywhere, and it's above religion. I guess it's set apart from religion because it is the law of all things, giving and receiving energy. When something happens and then you respond, or how are you putting yourself out there? What energy are you emitting out from you, and what are you drawing back to? We talk about this in different variations every time we meet, basically, this energetic exchange. Oh yeah, sure, no problem, Maggie. Sorry, the chats kind of draw my attention in the middle. Anyways, so so this energetic exchange of giving and receiving. So if we tie this into this special time of the universe, in the universe and space now, in this moment, we understand that when we give, right? We could do that. Even if we think about a bank account, if we're always withdrawing from this bank account and not putting back in, not receiving, not, allowing some input to come in, not making deposits and so on and so forth, we can risk this space of really feeling energetically depleted. And we can really look at that as such an important point to understand that giving as well as receiving is so important. And oftentimes we can find ourselves on one end of the spectrum, like we are just givers and we don't like to receive. And there's a saying also in Hebrew, may we always be on the giving end, right? Liana, that one, may we always be the givers. And so that's truth. I always want to be on the giving end, of course, right? However, when someone is gifting to you, when someone is giving to you, when you are on the receiving end, you are then fulfilling that same space for someone else. And even as I say these words, I remember that they are all in the same books that we talk about, Secrets of a Millionaire's Mind, Think and Grow Rich. All of these people, they talk about, T.R. Ecker or Napoleon Hill. They all talk about how we need to create a balance between these energies. We need to not only, and we could be on the other end of the spectrum, right? We can be just like, hey, give it. I just want to get it all, give me all the gifts, energy from the universe, rain on me. Where is all the money? The dollar is pouring. And then we don't, in exchange, give from ourselves. That is also one way to be in this space, just kind of expect, oh, I want all the things to come my way. And that also is not a balanced action. And when we think about balance, one image that comes to mind is even that bicycle wheel, right? Where all the spokes have to be in the exact same line. You can't have one that is more extended than the other. It all has to, in order to create this, in order to ride the bicycle and to be in this motion, everything has to be aligned and in balance. And it's just like that for us. We have this internal expansion. So if we're now coming back into this energy, there is an energy from the inside of you that extends outward when you are gifting, when you are sending your energy out there, when you are meditating, when you're visualizing, when you are just expressing. Joe, you were talking about art and creating art and doing portraits. I mean, that is your energetic expression. That is you expressing yourself out into the world. Maggie was talking about a customer and trying to get the whatever that customer bought to them. That is you expressing, you giving, you extending your energy out from you out into the world. Now, can we also receive? Can we also allow the energy? We can think about it as source energy. We can think about it as, friends gifting us things. We can think about it as receiving love, being open to that. How many of us close down to this energetic force and just kind of, we can think about these times where we're just like, okay, no, just, don't bother me. Don't, and it is this action of just kind of cowering inwards, closing off. That would be a great word to describe it. Closing off to the world and the universe and whatever we would like to draw back into us. So a lot of our work here together is really understanding how we are holding ourselves up in space. And are we blocking the receiving energy? Are we creating this balanced exchange? Are we, many of us have these checklists in the holidays. Okay, I'm going to donate this and this. I'm going to gift that and that. I'm going to give of my time. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to, honor this person in some way. We all have these kinds of, maybe we all do, maybe we don't, but I think in some form or the other, most people, in a specific time, you have these ideas in your mind. Okay. I'm going to donate, I'm going to gift, I'm going to volunteer, I'm going to contribute. That's a great word because everyone in some way or another contributes, even if it's time, money, talent, whatever you'd like to offer, your own, just kindness, caring. Isn't this holiday, this time, all about this caring kindness? And it's talked about everywhere. Like I'm even getting the chill. It's such a beautiful time, where everyone is just, even you go to the supermarket, and I'm speaking very generally, because of course you can have these off moments of, random non-acts of kindness. But when you go to this and people are just more generous towards you, or offering you things, or, making sure that you have what you need. We get all these lists of, can we help these families have a meal, or these families stay warm, or just that kind of thing. And it is so fulfilling from the inside. And that, I think, is where that the focus lies here in this specific time, is that when you give, give from yourself, when you honor someone else, you are truly honoring yourself and uplifting yourself. And sometimes when the energies in your life are a little bit more depleted, or not as high up, and you don't have as much, it literally can change you around, can lift you up when you give to someone else, when you offer from your center, from yourself, from your heart, from your beliefs, from who you are, the essence of who you are, from your spirit, from your soul. You offer out into the world, that replenishes you. And then you must, in that turn, allow, get back. Right. So oftentimes, let's say we go and we volunteer at some center, or we, help out in some way, and then we're offered thanks, or we're offered a hug, or we're offered gifts, or, one way to react would be, oh, no, I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart, and I just want to give, So at that moment, we're really blocking that energy, from receiving what that person wants to give us. Even think about it even before that. You can, or, not something so dramatic as actually being, if somebody gives you a compliment, how do you react to that? When someone says, oh my gosh, you're such a wonderful human being, and I love being around you, and you give me so much. Do you immediately think about all the good things you want to say about them right back? Or are you able to one moment bathe in the compliments that you are being given? Are you able to receive the thanks that they want to give to you, right? So that's an interesting concept. Coming back to this idea of, someone wants to give you physical things, give you, and if you block that, if you say, wait, no, I don't need anything, I'm just here, I just want to, again, you're creating this block. So can we, in this time of giving, in this beautiful period of just kindness and really gifting, receiving, or let's say on that end of the spectrum of gifting, of sending out there, of people really being in this, trying to be in this harmonious way of living, can we still see the two sides of that? Can we receive? Can we create that balance within ourselves and how we interact with the world? Can we, someone wants to praise us, let's bathe in that praise. That feels good for them to give this praise, to to thank you, to express their gratitude. Remember, we often talk, and we've talked about that in two instances, I think in the past couple of months, about feeling grateful, gratitude, because we had Thanksgiving, we talked about gratitude, and we talked then about being grateful for things that you don't have. Now, what is the other end of the spectrum when someone is grateful for you? When someone wants to express their gratitude to you, are you able to bathe in that, to balance that out, to be there as, John often uses the term receptacle, right? Can you receive? Are you there to receive what they would like to give onto you? And you know what? We can look at that in two ends of the spectrum, because we're talking about all great things, right? Are you able to bathe in the goodness that people are giving you? What happens when people want to gift you with unkind messages and feelings? Are you then able to hold space, to listen, and then leave them with that, leave that where it's meant to be, and not attach that to you, not take that with you into your day, but just, all right, this person had to vent this out at this moment. It happens a lot if you think about it, even on random little things. Just someone says something snarky to you, or some side comment, and then you go, oh, okay. All right, that person is having a day. Let's just move along. You know, it could be someone you work with, someone you care for, someone you don't care for. You just met them in the grocery store. And you know, every time I get on the roads now, the roads are packed with people. You know, I used to be heavily into the retail world, and this is the time, you know, where you are so excited that the malls are packed and the stores are packed, and you have so much merchandise, and your storage is stocked, and you're just selling. And now I'm not in the retail. I mean, I still am in a way, but I don't have a physical retail location. It's online, everything, and then a warehouse. And so it's just so interesting how that, you know, I get onto the roads now, and the roads are packed and the stores are packed. And oh, this is just some years ago, the time that you would, you know, wait for and be a part of that hustle and bustle. And now it's like, wow, what's going on around me? You know, literally lines, you know, from the entrance of the store to the register to the return area of spaces, and just, you know, driving through a simple shopping center, you know, that, you know, if it's outdoors and all that, it takes you literally 20-30 minutes to get from one end to the other, which it's, you know, normally a couple of minutes. It's amazing. And we are in this business of thriving at this time. And so, you know, a minute before Christmas, of course, you know, I think we've all, John and I, pumped up the energy of getting the sales and getting all the products up there and really creating a business that draws attention. And are you ready to create all the buy buttons and, you know, collect all the money? And now it's this moment, you know, as we came into the solstice and we're a moment before Christmas, where, you know, can we sit one moment, right? The solstice being the darkest day or the longest night, right? We can look at it both ways. The longest night, and can we then sit in silence with ourselves and check in with that balance? Check in with how much are we putting out there, and are we drawing enough in? How, you know, what are we drawing in, and what now will serve us in this new year that's upon us? You know, we're moments before 2022. It's exciting. You know, it's like, wow, we're now entering this new era, literally a whole shift in our time. Are we creating this balance with how much we're putting out and then drawing in? So this is kind of where I wanted to direct our conversation. And I want to hear from you now. I know we have a smaller setting than usual, which is to be expected because it is the holiday seasons where everyone is out enjoying and preparing for this time with the families. I didn't take a moment on our recording to acknowledge all the wonderful students that did make it here. Scott, I see your hand up. I'm so happy you're here. And Maggie's here, and Joe's here. Liana is here. Love you, Liana. Great to see you here. Craig, Rima, and Alec with his Fun Friday back. Josie's here. Where have you been, Josie? Wow, I've missed you. Great to see you here. Wonderful. I want to hear from you today. You better speak up on this topic. Jules here, Deborah, Joseph, if only just to say hi. And Jay's here, Dan, Patricia. We've got, wow, Sibu from the other side. She's welcoming summer at this time. Jamie, Galaxy A11. And so, yes, let's hear from Scott. Lovely to have your hand. Hi, Deborah. Now I see you. There's your hand up, Josie. Fantastic. Scott, let's hear from you. What do you say about giving and receiving?
Well, the thing that occurs to me is that gratitude seems to be a very pivotal aspect of this, and not just in terms of the person receiving. I think if you're in a position of giving, it's from, in the true sense of the word, it's from an overflow of abundance.
Yes.
In the sense that I think love and physical giving and any sort of emotional outpouring comes from abundance. Otherwise, one has to be, you know, a bit suspect about the motives, you know. But
right.
If it's coming from genuine abundance, then in a sense you are chosen as a conduit for abundance that comes from beyond you and perhaps just through you.
Yes.
And the gratitude comes from being chosen to be that source of abundance for someone else, whether that's building up their self-esteem, whether it's making their life better or whether it's giving them a physical thing. It doesn't matter. It comes from that overflow. And that's something we can be grateful for as the giver. And I think in terms of the receiving aspect, I think, as you said, some people have trouble receiving, whether it's a compliment or anything else. And I think a lot of that relates to their self-esteem and whether they feel, and that feeling of being worth it, of deserving it. But I think if one can raise one's self-esteem, and I think that can be done, then I think the giving and receiving become another way in which souls can reach out and touch each other. And I think negate the essential loneliness, if you like, of the human condition. Because you probably heard the idea, you know, we're born alone, we die alone. And for a lot of people, it's a living reality from every moment of their waking life. And I think that the great striving for a lot of people is to reach out beyond that and touch another soul, at least one in their lives. And if they can, and if there's someone coming into their lives with an overflow of abundance, then their soul is basically there for all the world to see and touch through that abundance. And I think the person receiving can not only receive the physical thing, but obviously receive the gift of that soul of that other person, and break that loneliness cycle, which a lot of people, as I said, do experience as a living reality. You know, that's just a few thoughts anyway.
I love it, Scott. And thank you for bringing us into, two things stood out for me from listening to you speak. One, being this, conduit, you said, like a vessel for this, because we talk about it. Okay, connect to this infinite abundance of energy. What is it? And when we when we are giving, that is a connection to that, and you can feel it. And then once you feel it in one space, you can then duplicate it to others. So it really is, a great way to learn what that sensation is to help you manifest. You're giving to someone else and you're giving from a space of abundance, and maybe you're trying to manifest millions of dollars, right? We said 70 million last time. Maybe you're trying to manifest 700 million, right? And so now, how do you relate to that energy? Because now you can feel it. You're abundant in whatever it is that you're gifting. Can you tap into that same source for yourself? And I think you are right. It is, we are in this journey or this quest for, tapping into our own self-worth, self-esteem, how we view ourselves in the world. And oftentimes we get stuck on what we think other people are thinking about us. And 99.9999%, I'm just going to leave a little bit for chance. We're wrong. We're just wrong because we don't know what other people are thinking and how they perceive us. And you are true. This world and how it's constructed, there is an illusion of being alone, of not being a unit, of not being connected. But we know science has proven it, even from, meditation around the world and how it all connects and changes and shapes the world, and how you can sense, it. So you think about someone and then they give you a call. What is that if not connected? And so can we encourage this idea that we are a net, that we are woven together, that we are this one big space where we have an individual experience. Of course we do, definitely we do, but that we are, intangibly created in this quantum field, which I love. The whole idea of quantum entanglement is one of my favorite things ever. So thank you for bringing that to our space today. Josie, I've missed you. Where you've been? Where have you been? Where'd she go? Josie. Oh, you're on mute.
Hello, lady. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Karen. I sneak in every now and then and just stay under the radar. I first want to just thank everyone for the other day on Adam's call. He did like a small poll and asked if anyone had made any sales, if they cared to share some of that. Some of the people that are on this call right now did share some of the stuff. And I just want to say congratulations. That's awesome. Part of the giving and the receiving of gifts, we start this business here and we're giving people things that they're looking for that they couldn't find anyplace else, and they're unique to them. And so that's pretty cool. So I was thinking about what you're talking about, the ability or sometimes the inability to receive. And so I was raised up very in a very poor home in the US here, and the five of us kids with parents who divorced very young. And so one of the things that my mother always told us is, don't you take anything from anybody, don't you take it, don't you. And so, you know, there was this like kind of what Scott was saying about like this low self-esteem portion of me. I can't say for my other siblings, but and so I couldn't, you know, receive things either. I always loved it if I could give something or make something for somebody. And then as I got older, began to have my children, and I started doing that to them, it was like something like began to like prick me about giving. And then one person who I admired very well said to me one time, you very privately said, you always want to give, but you never take, you never receive, and let anybody give to you. And it's like, oh yeah, because my mom. And then when I was starting to say it out loud, it just dawned on me, wait a minute, I don't have a clue, you know. And so, you know, back in the day we called it pride, and I didn't want to be thought of somebody who had, you know, so proud I couldn't receive something. But the truth is that I didn't know how to receive. And every now and then it'll creep up. And when someone tries to give me something, I'm like, thank you so much. May you be blessed, you know, for giving. And then I wrote down that little quote that you said at the beginning, may we always be on the giving end. And like, wow, if you were raised up with that thought, then you have to kind of retrain your brain to also be on the receiving end. And yeah. I'm glad that I have learned that. I'm not always perfect at it, because when I catch myself, I have to stop, because I want to be a blessing, but I want other people to be blessed as well. And maybe their interaction with me is maybe their first time of giving also, for whatever reasons. And then if I squash them, they're going to be squashed the next time they try to give, and then they lose that blessing. So thank you for the topic today, and thank you for missing me. And I'm still here. And congratulations, everyone, and happy holidays, and whatever you do at this time of year, may you be blessed.
Beautiful. Josie, so good to hear from you. I feel like it's like, yay, Christmas treat. Josie lives on this amazing, and from what I see, you know, I always imagine she has like these sliding doors on the right where you're sitting, and then you have this huge space, right? You have a huge acreage out in the back with lots of animals and everything going on there in the wilderness. And so when I see you speaking, that's what I see. And it's just fantastic to see you here. We go way back to the beginning of my journey in the low-hanging system. So really great to hear from you. And I love how you brought your vulnerability, and you have now shared with us even your journey through that. So acknowledging what kind of programming, but it really is a programming without even the quotes, but what kind of programming we go through when we are young, and we then apply that as just the law almost of our life. And then we have, and it's so interesting when we can tap into our subconscious and then understand, you know, where we want to be today. You're like, I don't want to be a person that cannot receive. I want to be a person that can, you know, be in that space of receiving. And oftentimes, you know, someone else will reflect that back onto us, just like you shared with your friend who was saying, wait, you always give, and you can't receive. And then you're like, oh, that's not who I want to be. And okay, here's where it comes from. And how interesting when we see it, that we can change it. Like Josie didn't share, I went to, 50 years of therapy to then understand how I push a button. And no, we saw it, we acknowledged it. And then we actively chose. It's a mindfulness. You hold yourself accountable. You even shared, it comes up still. It's not deleted from your essence. It comes up still, but then you can make that choice. And that space between your reaction, whatever happens in your reaction, that space gets bigger and bigger every time you practice. And that's how you reprogram. So that was like, you know, such a beautiful example for all of us, for any of us listening to this now today and saying, well, this is just the way I am, or this has been with me since birth, or I was raised this way, and all kinds of statements like that just keep you in this plateau and not wanting to change, where we can now see, hey, I realize this about myself, and this is not what I choose to be in 2022 or today or tomorrow or in the next hour. It's that literally that quick that we can make these switches. And then you now have a reaction that you appreciate more, and your friends, I'm sure appreciate it, your family, and now you're able to be on that receiving side. And doesn't it feel great, right? It feels great to receive from people that love you, that want to share their love for you with you. It really, really is. So thank you. So maybe
It
I
does
miss
feel
you.
great. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, good. I miss you maybe when you come up. I guess I try to look through the names so that I can catch students that come up a little bit later, but I haven't caught you. So great to see you. Lots of love to you and your family in this time. Scott, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Kieran, I just something arose in my mind as Josie spoke. I think in the natural cycle of things and of life, I think there will always be situations where some people are stronger in some ways than others. And I think if someone is truly strong in the finest sense of that word, and it comes from their abundance, then they're naturally inclined to build up and help the weak. Whatever that is, in terms of weakness, self-esteem, or whatever it is, the natural inclination is from that overflow of abundance to help them, because they don't have to worry about themselves anymore. They can focus on that giving aspect, which is so soul enhancing. And I think you may recall a while ago, there was some controversy about an ad campaign that Gillette was running about men. It has in Australia, it was, I'm not sure if it was in the US, but they were basically saying, all you guys, you got to stop hurting women, stop beating women, and stop being horrible, to women, basically. And that really struck a chord with a lot of men, because 99% of them would feel a natural inclination to protect whatever women are anywhere near them, or women they see in the street. I mean, that it happened in Australia many years ago. Some woman in the central CBD was being attacked or something from a car, and this random stranger, this guy, just went straight in without thinking to help her, and he got shot and killed, unfortunately. But that mindset is, I think, instinctive to 99% of men. And that's why when Gillette said, you stop hurting these women and stop having these terrible ways of thinking about women, it just went against the grain. And Gillette suffered, I think, a lot from basically destroying its own customer base, because the natural inclination, as I said, of the truly strong, whether it's physical or otherwise, is to protect those who are not. Still acknowledging the inner divinity of that person, not looking down on them in any way, but just realize that in this one respect, perhaps, I am stronger than you, therefore I will lift you up. So I think the obligation of strength is to lift up, never to put down, because people who put down are, by any definition, weak. Even if you might be strong in some ways, but if you're putting someone down, I would say that is weakness. And that means you actually need more than the person you're giving to. But certainly, I think this whole aspect of giving and receiving is an overflow of strength to weakness, but with an acknowledgement of divinity. And I think in that context, you give until that person can raise themselves up, and then it's a meeting of greatness together. That's the way I see it, anyway.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think you're speaking of the concept of compassion. You can have compassion towards others if you're, regardless to your gender. You can have compassion towards animals. We can look at the animals as weak, or and then we can give towards them and that kind of relationship. But I've never seen the campaign that you've talked about, but Gillette and I haven't been buddies since like I was 14. So I don't even, I have my list of companies that I do not relate with, let's put it that way, without any, it's just, they have never, they have not shown compassion, let's put it that way, as you were speaking. But anyways, pushing us back to, what I think stemmed exactly from what you were saying, at least for me, is to find that tensegrity point, that balance point where, when you are, and tensegrity is basically when if you have a structure, a bridge or of some sort, and because of the way that it's built, it becomes almost weightless, because everything just relates perfectly to one another, that these structures are so much more stable, and you see it like, really wavy structures are generally speaking, very generally speaking, because it's individual to each structure, but that will withstand forces much stronger than just a straight line or something built in that way. And so these forces of nature, when they're working on each other, and we have that within us. We have that within us the same. So we can create this sense of lightness in ourselves. That's that balanced harmonic place where we are giving and receiving to create this, almost zero gravity effect. It's a true thing. It is a principle in nature and in physics and in our own body, believe it or not. I can give an example from the animal kingdom. If you think about an elephant running, this is an enormous animal, which is very, very heavy, and they can run super fast and lift their trunk up and their tails are up and they're just, moving through the savannah. How do they do that? They do that because they work with this balanced forces they create integrity in their body. The same with a giraffe, running through the savannah with the long neck, or you can think about a T-Rex with its huge tail, the tail lifted and the big head. How does a T-Rex not sink in the mud? Because they work with these balanced forces of tensegrity. So pushing out and drawing in, engaging the muscles, but also expanding from the inside. This is, by the way, what I teach in my Bowspring practice, just so you know. So it is a real thing. We can create that in our body and have that feeling of lightness, of levity even. All right. Josie, let's hear from you.
I was going to bounce off of Scott since he bounced off of me, but
Yes.
the first time I really, really noticed that whole ability for myself to have received is I was working out of state, and our oldest son had graduated college, and he was working in another state, but I was like 2 hours from him. So we made a pact to meet each other. So drove across state lines, went and met him, and he wanted to take me out to dinner. So I'm like, oh yeah, let's go out to dinner. So we go out to dinner and I get ready to pay. And he says, I'm paying. I went, and then I stopped. And because the look in his eye, when he walked out pulled out his wallet and he paid, and then he gave a tip. And it blessed me to see him the pride that
Lost you.
he had to bless his mom. And I said to him, that's a beautiful tip, son. I know, did I get lost there? I saw me freeze.
Yeah, just a little bit. You said the pride that
Can
he
you hear
felt.
me? Oh,
The pride that he felt.
yeah, the pride that I felt to see him not only give to me, but to give to the server as well. And then I complimented on his giving to the server. And then he said, Mama, that's what you taught us.
Aww.
And so I was like, oh, good. He did what I said and not what I do sometimes. But that was a blessing to see the look in his eye that he bought his mom, and paid for this extravagant meal. And that was cool.
You know what? That's a beautiful example looking at family, because, and it is a cycle. We have our children, so those who've had children, and then they grow up. And then as we age, sometimes we become children ourselves and we need to be cared by others. It's an interesting loop. And, and that can put us in a space where sometimes elderly are too proud to receive help or don't want to be a burden on others, and, I've seen that happen a lot. And then to be able to be in this space of, no, I've got you now, and I will care for you during this time. And I will be in this space and help you along. And just even, in the more simpler areas, like you're sharing with your son who grew and now is able to treat his mother to this meal, versus just kind of always. I actually went through something similar today with my daughter, and she's not as old yet, but she just got her first bank account, right? She's 14. She's got her first bank account because she asked for it, which I was excited for. And then to notice how, she wants to pay for something online with her money, and how I, just pay with mine. Okay, 1 second. No, let her go through the whole thing and do her own thing. Not that the money is that separate. It's not working at the moment, but, just to build that where you're slowly allowing them to fly and to learn these things. Even I just handed her the credit card. I mean, nobody taught her what are the numbers, what are the expiration, what does it mean, and how do you, I mean, that's just such a beautiful, that's a beautiful example. Thank you, Josie. Look how pretty it is when we bounce off of each other and share, and it just makes the whole conversation richer and richer. And the beautiful thing is that we can relate on so many levels. Maybe the first things that I said were not as relatable, but look at what you've just brought in to make it more relatable, and then everyone can just sense and then take it into their lives and look at this balance of forces of giving and receiving, of these currents that exist around us at all times. So thank you so much, Josie, for sharing. Always love to hear from you. Joe, yay. Happy you're speaking up today. Let's hear from you.
I really had to learn a lesson. You know what? People like to be needed, and they like to share. And when you don't accept or you blush, I did a lot of blushing, but I found the energy that the whole room exudes when you accept somebody's offering. You are offering then part of yourself. And a lot of people don't like to give that part of themselves. But you need to be needed. We all do. That's it.
I love it. Yay. What a beautiful ending. If no one else has something to share, it's true. It's true. You need to be needed. We need to be loved. We need to be able to give and receive love. And, this is really what we're here to do, to share from ourselves, to receive from others, to know that we're not alone, that we're in this together. It's the perfect time, the perfect season to sense this energy around you. If you are feeling in this lower space, or like, Scott had mentioned, the space of loneliness and a kind of solitude, can you then tap into this more global happening where the energies are so much more tangible than it's true for the whole year. This is not something that is just for now, but look at the hype around you. Can you sense that? Can you draw in some of that and partake, right? We say part of the whole manifestation and all that, you have to take action. You have to participate. You have to be in the midst of this exchange. And so that's, where I feel like this can be relatable to everyone, wherever they are in their lifetime. And I know, Maggie, you asked about my time in Israel. I can share that, and maybe on our next call. I feel like this is a good wrap.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great wrap for our conversation today. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Just enjoy this special time, even if it's not your choice for celebration. There's so much to celebrate around us. And there will be no Daily Success Call tomorrow. It is Christmas Eve tomorrow, so we will not have a Daily Success Call tomorrow. However, I will be here with you on Monday. I will be with you all week next week, Monday through Thursday. No call on New Year's Eve either. And, I really look forward to seeing you all here. Thank you all for joining. Have a great rest of your day, and happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.